Hey guys, it's me, Amy. This is a simple video. The title will pretty much tell you all. This is why plus size models or the petition on getting plus size princesses do not promote unhealthy habits. This should be simple. Now we've learned try not to judge people by their appearance. Don't judge a book by its cover is a great example of this. The reason why these people don't really promote unhealthy habits is because you never see them doing something unhealthy exactly. You see what they look like, and you automatically think, well, this promotes unhealthy weight. What promotes unhealthy weight to me? Well, simple. What promotes unhealthy weight to me is if you see someone sitting down who could be obese or could be even skinny and stuffing their faces with food. Like right now, if I were eating a donut, that would probably justify unhealthy eating habits and why people complain. But I'm going to go ahead and try to quickly get up one of the most popular plus size models. I just want to show you some of their images if I can. Just that. You see her. I noticed in any of her posts, you probably can't see that, and I don't know why I'm even trying. You noticed that in any of her posts, she's not eating anything ever. Never seen her eat anything in her post. She never seems to be sitting down. In fact, one post that I found with food is corn, which I'm not a nutritionist, but I can almost pretty much tell you that that isn't unhealthy at all. Yeah. And if there is food, it's not in her mouth and she's not eating it. There's a picture of tea. My point is, what promotes unhealthy habits is simple. Unhealthy habits that are being promoted are shoving your face with food and sodas. So pretty much every commercial that you see on TV with people stuffing their faces with oversized portions and drinking sodas, or drinking in period. So pretty much any show that shows drinking, any show that shows bullying, although that has nothing to do with health, it has a lot to do with mental health. So if you see someone bullying someone on TV, that would probably in terms be probably considered unhealthy. That's an unhealthy habit to I guess take out your insecurities on someone else. That would be unhealthy. Yeah. So when people say, and I brought up this petition thing about the princesses because, and I think it's closed now, that poll is closed, but people were saying that this will promote unhealthy eating habits within a child. I can tell you, when I was a kid and I saw Disney Princess, I never thought, wow, her waist is really tiny. I thought, wow, look at all those colors. I want my hair to be that red. And we were talking about Ariel there. I want a tail. I never looked at a Disney Princess as a kid and said, well, that looks like perfection. This is what I need to be. I looked at it like, hey, this is a cartoon movie. And if there's ever a kid that does sit down and think I should look like that, well then clearly that kid is being taught something entirely different than what I was taught as a kid, which is not to judge anyone by their cover, which is exactly what I did when I was a kid and I watched those movies. I never looked at Ariel and said, wow, I need to look like her. I thought, wow, I really love to sing like her, or I'd really like to swim like her, or I'd really like to collect things or be as adorable, because she was adorable. That was the kind of stuff that was promoted for me in that film. I love to sing because I was taught singing was beautiful back then. Everyone focuses on the small waist of the Disney princesses as adults, but I'm pretty sure that you wouldn't go to a kid and ask them, what'd you think of this movie? And their first answer would be, wow, her waist was really tiny. No, that's not how the world works. As much as people would love to say that what they see in that movie influences them life in any negative or positive way, that movie is just a movie, and kids know that that is just a movie. Kids are smarter than you think. I don't think I've ever met a child who said, well, I'm going to go with a fin and be a mermaid. Unless it was pretty much for Halloween and it was pretty much talking about a costume. No kid is ever really influenced by what they see on TV. Until it is pulled up and brought to their attention. Well, look. Don't you think Little Mermaid has a little tiny waist? Now that's in my mind. Now I can't stop watching The Little Mermaid and thinking, wow, her waist really is tiny. Why did they make it so tiny? I didn't give a shit when I was a kid. But now when people point it out and constantly point it out and those kids see it, they're going to automatically think, well, that's what I need to be connecting with watching this movie. Not about the music, not about the love tale, not about the ocean, not about how well the characters are drawn, despite their tiny waist and it being what is that word? Unrealistic. Thank you, me. Unrealistic. That's not how this entire thing worked. As a kid, we just loved movies. We didn't look at Finding Nemo and thought that's exactly what we should look like, a clownfish. That's not how this world. We didn't look at Jasmine and think, well, I should be tan. If we did, then this world would be completely screwed up. But we don't look at them and think, especially kids, we don't look at them and think, if we make a big princess, it's not going to make a difference in the minds of a child. Because TV doesn't really affect kids as much as you guys like to think. Now, I played violent video games, and I never thought, wow, I really want to be the person in Grand Theft Auto shooting and robbing banks and killing hookers. No, that's not how, as much as reality likes to teach us that. And then, even the media, and people blame a lot of the media for people seeing thin people. The only time that it is bad is when the media catches that some actress gained a few pounds, and let me tell you, I've never seen a really obese actress, I guess, going from small to going to really big, and, being, that big of a deal. They pull out someone who looks like, I'm trying to think of a good example, like Tyra Banks. It was on her show, you guys can look it up, and she tells the photographer of the magazine to kiss her fat ass because they took a picture of her in a bathing suit that wasn't all flattering. They do that. If you ever see Tyra Banks, you're going to look at her, she's a model. She's known for modeling. You're not going to look at her and think, wow, she's really fat. You're going to look at her and think, wow, I love her hair. Wow, I love her eyes. Wow, she's a talk show, for God's sakes. For God's sakes, I admire the girl for letting the Westboro Baptist Church getting on her show. That shit's insane. Congratulations to you. But I will never, ever look at someone and think about their weight. Not because of my weight, not the way that it's given me. It's because I was raised in a certain way to not judge a book by its cover. There's this beautiful girl, and I'm not going to say her name, but we went to school together. She's very kind, but she was known for being very tall and thin. And a lot of people would make harsh comments on you. Oh, you need to eat more. You're really too thin. They called her names. But when you talk to this girl, she's really cool. And then the one thing I really loved about her in school was she was always nice to me. We walked past each other in the hallway. She was nice. Now we're friends on social media. I don't get to see her often. But I comment on her stuff and she replies. And she's all around really nice. the thing is, she never judged me for the way that I look, and I never judged her for the way that she looked. I always thought she was beautiful. I don't think she ever thought that about me, but that's just because I don't think that about myself at some points in time, like right now. The point is, when you stop judging people by the way that they look, the world does become a better place. So you can make all the fat Disney princesses you want. It's not going to change. You want to know why? It's because people do not take from television. They do not take that. Especially young kids. They're not going to notice if a princess is fat. They're not going to notice if a princess has a little waist. They don't notice that. They're so captured within the story. They don't really notice. People were saying, the evil witch in The Little Mermaid was fat. Ursula. But I never noticed that as a kid. She had tentacles, for God's sakes. I didn't notice her waistline. I did, however, notice her hair. Oh, that always stuck with me. The point I'm trying to make is that kids are not as media focused as adults. You're going to try to make a fat Disney princess, it's not going to make a difference. They're not going to notice. At that age, they probably don't even notice that the Princess and the Frog, the princess was black. They don't notice that. They don't care. Because there's music and lights and love and fairy tale. They don't give a shit what you look like. And those are kids. They get the idea that they should care about what people look like because of what people do around them. And I do think that real life TV shows, like some of the shit they show on Disney, does kind of support that kind of judgmental behavior as well. But I mean, they get bullied at school for being big because those kids learned that it wasn't right being big from whatever they learned it from, either their parents, and yes, there are parents that openly make fun of fat people, what other people do on television, and unfortunately, like I said, it not necessarily with cartoons, but more with like those real live action shows where there's always that obese kid lifting up his shirt and waggling his stomach around. Yeah, that kind of stuff does promote things like that. I'm thinking of iCarly, and there was a kid there who I wouldn't really call him fat. I guess he was a little chubby. Like, if I can't even say chubby. He had a little weight. And he would go on this TV and go shirtless, and he promoted confidence in himself, but he was always known as the weirdo. And that's the sad thing. This kid was known as the weirdo because he was so confident in himself that he took off his shirt wherever he got the chance. A kid. That's where kids learn it from. When they see that this person is okay with their body, but everyone around them isn't okay with it, then they're going to think, well, I shouldn't be okay with someone's body. So when they go and see a kid that might have a similar body to them, they're going to think it's perfectly fine. That kind of stuff never happens at Disney. I've never heard anyone in The Little Mermaid called Ursula fat, ever. I'm trying to think. No, they called her a sea witch. Yeah, no, I can't remember them ever basically adding onto their weight. There was a Pocahontas and the bigger guy there who was the main big villain. Never heard a fat joke about him. Did see a lot of fat jokes about his dog. But dog's obesity is so adorable. I'm kidding. Well, animals in general are adorable. He ate a lot of treats. The point is, I've never heard a fat joke on there. I can't remember hearing a fat joke on there. And I was an obese kid, and I never looked at Disney and thought, wow, that's what I should look like. No. I learned that I should look like what God intended me to look like. When I didn't like the way that I look, and God presented me with this option to have surgery, yes, I'm a Christian, just don't even get me on that, and gave me the strength to have the surgery, I got the surgery. I don't know how I'm going to look. I know that there's probably going to be sagging skin, and things like that, but I don't care because it's the weight that I fall at and the weight that I lose and the skin that gets left behind. That's what I'm going to look like because it's all how I feel, too. I don't feel comfortable at this weight. I can't wait to lose more. I'm looking forward to surprising people with becoming smaller. The sad thing is, we try to blame a lot of things for the way the world is, whether it's people being obese or people not accepting obese people. The fact is, we're all raised in different ways. We're all raised in certain ways. And if you're going to have kids, I think you should raise them with one thing in mind. And I'm not talking about body positive. I'm not talking about that movement. That movement is complete bullshit. You want to know why? It focuses mainly on obese people. I don't care if you're obese. I don't care if you're black or white. I don't care if you're really, really thin. I don't care if you're dark or light. I don't care if you're... There was something else. I don't care if you're smart or stupid like me. I don't care if you're ugly. I don't care if you're beautiful. It wouldn't make a difference to me. So fuck the body positive and start going with the positive movement, enforcing positive stuff. And like I said, you guys can blame the media for what happens, but the truth is, it's what people take from the media. If somebody goes out and says that the media is calling someone fat and think fat is wrong, and then they push it on other people, then that's them. That's because of what they got. The media doesn't say do this and fat shame people. And yes, that term, people are so like, fat shame is made up. It doesn't matter. You can shame anything. You can shame sluts. You can shame bone strengthening calcium chews. Yeah. Why do you have calcium in them? You calcium-full schmuck. There you go. I shamed calcium. I'm a calcium shamer. The truth is, you can shame people for pretty much anything, and it can be labeled as blank shaming. I don't know why people get pissed off at that. And again, you know, I'm not trying to blame anyone else, and that's the thing. I never try to blame anyone else for anything. I don't try to blame anyone else for my weight. I don't try to blame anyone else from the way that I came out with whatever lack of education or education on other matters that are important to me. I don't blame from what I pick up from the media on the media. I blame me. It's all my head. It's my fault that I ate. It could be somebody else's bodies, and like, you know, they have PCOS, and people will go flipping out because they're blaming PCOS. They're blaming their bodies that have PCOS. The point is, as much as we try, we can't blame anyone else for us but ourselves. We can't. And as much as we'd love to blame the media for how people view us or how we view ourselves, that's us, that's them. And we have no control over them. We have more control over ourselves, although sometimes we need that extra push because we can't seem to control ourselves in certain situations. So, I don't think there should be a fat princess. I don't think there should be a tiny waisted princess. I don't think there should be a normal sized princess. I don't give a shit. I don't think about princesses anymore. I'm not a kid. I do like the movies, but they're definitely not because of the way the characters looked. In forms of, like, not meaning an animation. I love good animation, but I don't give a shit about how slim their waist is or how big their eyes are. I do. I really like eyes. But the thing is, it won't make a difference whether we get a fat Disney princess. It won't make a difference whether the media ever stops making fun of fat people or pointing out weight. Doesn't matter if they ever continue to point out weight. It really matters on how you were raised and what you perceive and what you enjoy and how you take things. I took every bit of those fat comments I had. I took every bit of those things as a negative. Some people might see it as a positive. Some people can say someone shamed me into losing weight. I can't say that. With every ounce a bit of shame that I had from adults telling me I should get the surgery, which I got, which is kind of ironic. Point is, can't say people shame me. It was me that had to make the choice. I saw the results that surgery had done to the people that I know who had it, and they look great. I wasn't ready when I first heard about it, and then I became ready. I was never pushed. And when I was left alone about the surgery, when I was left alone about my weight, is when I made that decision. Why? Because without the people telling me that I should hate myself for the way that I look, I started loving myself for the inside, and then saying, well, I don't want to be this way. There are some people who love the way they look after having this revelation. I didn't. So I did something about it because I love myself. And not in the conceited way, but in more of the it's time to take care of myself way. The normal loving yourself way. So yeah. Make fat princesses. It's not going to make a difference. Yeah, but it also doesn't promote obesity again or unhealthy habits unless that Disney princess is 99% of the time shoving food in her face and drinking cola. So yeah. Thank you. Bye.